How tough was it, big fella, to make the call?
Yeah, I've probably had a fair bit of time to think about it for the fact that I've been injured most of the year, and yeah, it was good to get back to be able to play again this year, but there was always a fair bit of doubt that, would be able to go on beyond this year. So yeah, had enough time to think about it, but I think I made the right call.
Did your form in the last couple of weeks make you think, you know what, maybe I could go one more?
No, not when I woke up the next morning after a game. I think the older you get, the longer it takes to recover, and to play at your best, you've got to be able to train, both main sessions in the week, and I can't do that anymore. So, yeah, I've made the right call.
And how hard was it telling the boys? That's generally always the hardest.
Yeah, look, I couldn't look Ballas in the eye. That was probably the hardest part. I think because you spend so much time with a quality bunch of guys, it is extremely hard to come out and say that it's all over.
Did you think about hanging boots up earlier in the year, Aaron, and were you talked out of it by anyone around the club?
Yeah, look, that did arise. Obviously, it was getting frustrated, doing basic skill drills and pulling the calf again. So there was a lot of doubt there that I'd ever get back and play again. But, when you've got blokes like Ken Withers and Jeff Boyle who invest so much in the footy club, and me personally, the conversations I had with them was, why not have one more go? And I'm so glad that those two guys talked me into to try and go one more time and to get out there and run around again. It's worth doing.
Aside from that, what kept you motivated to keep on going?
Probably kids. I had the conversation with my eldest daughter. I said, "Oh, look, I'm getting a bit old, and I'm thinking about stopping playing football." And she said, "Dad, you're too young, and you've only just got back playing again." So, and then in the next breath, she said, "Make sure you man up." So it was, yeah.
It's been an unbelievable career. The generic question: what will you remember most about it?
Probably, I think it's such a special environment to be involved in. Having so many people in the one organisation that are so driven to achieve the ultimate, and that's win a premiership. And unfortunately, we haven't done that here yet, but we've got a great bunch of people, not only as players but as coaches, admin, upstairs, that are all driven for the same goal. And when you walk in the door, any day of the week, and you've got all those people that are trying to achieve that same goal, it's a really special feeling.
At one stage, you would have been the best ruckman in the competition. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, look, I had a pretty good midfield, I think would be the answer to that. You only had to put the ball in a certain vicinity, and we had a pretty good midfield running around trying to get the ball. So, I was just fortunate I got to play with a lot of great players. Yeah,
you've played with some great players. It's always tricky, but can you mention a few of the greats that you've played with, and Pav and Co?
Yeah, look, there's a huge list. I've been fortunate enough, to be involved in the Fremantle Footy Club for a long period of time, and Pav's stands right up there, the way he led the footy club for such a long period of time and sacrificed himself for the better of the footy club. Blokes like, I'll never forget running out for the first time in a scratch match. First time I've been interstate or on a plane, and got to run around with Peter Bell, so that was pretty special as well. And then blokes like Ballas, one of my best mates, to be able to run down the race with him, they're memories I'll cherish.
And your toughest opponents, you've had some beauties.
Yeah, look, there's a lot. I find every week you come up against a tough opponent, but I think early days got taught a lot of hard lessons against blokes like Spider Everett, Matthew Clark, Dean Cox was a great ruckman. So there's no one that was the hardest, but I think every week you come up against a tough one.
I think Dean Cox said he used to practice for you by going and leaning on a tree in the park and pushing against it. Did you feel like you had that power on those guys?
Yeah, because they could all run and I couldn't, so I had to try and wear them out by wrestling as much as I could with them. You have some great rivalries over the times, and you look back at that in the future, and be good.
How much satisfaction do you get in the sort of coaching role with guys like Sean Darcy and all the other rucks that are coming through?
Yeah, look, I really enjoy trying to pass on as much knowledge as I can. Yeah, look, Sean's like a sponge. He just absorbs, and he's a great young human being, and I'm excited to see what he does at the footy club over the next 10 years.
So do you stay now with the club, or would you like to have a coaching role or some sort of mentor role?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure at this point in time. See how the dust settles. I've got a family business that I'm really keen on getting involved in, and enjoy the next couple of weeks at the moment and see what happens from there.
The family business, landscaping?
Yeah, Gecko Contracting if you want to know. I'll get the hat out in a minute and we'll put it on.
Can you seriously see yourself on the tools and doing that?
Yeah, I love it, mate. It's something I did before footy, and in a position now where I can be involved with my dad and my brother, and I really enjoy being on the tools. So a lot less stress sitting on a lawnmower.
What do you think it'll be like running out at Optus for the last times there? It'll be massive for the club and massive for the fans as well. Will you be emotional, do you reckon?
Yeah, time's going to tell. We've got one of the best supportive bases in the game, I think. Our fans are so passionate, and every time I run out at a home crowd, you get the hair standing up on the back of your neck, and that still happens today. So, I was pretty keen to walk off into the sunset and not really announce anything, but I think I owe it to a lot of people to say thank you, and a lot of people have invested so much time into me, and it's probably a nice way to say thanks back for all the hard stuff that they've done.
Have you reflected on how much of an incredible story it was from when you first started here, which I can remember, and I think you were rookie listed, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you've gone on to be one of the greats. It's quite an achievement.
Yeah, look, when I first walked in the door, I was just keen to learn as much as I could in that 12 months and see what happened from there. And, I've had some great mentors along the way. Simon Easter took me under his wing, and remember running around down at East Fremantle with him for that season as a rookie. And I wasn't getting a huge amount of game time back in those days. That's when you actually sat on the pine and you didn't move too far. And I remember Eastie was dominating the competition, and he'd actually run off and give me time on the ground. And the knowledge and stuff that he's passed on to me, he's a lifelong friend.
How much did you enjoy that 20 to 2015 era, and what would you say to the guys now striving to get back to that, where sort of winning almost every week?
Yeah, look, the group we've got now is driven, and I've got no doubt that they'll get back to that point. It's pretty special when you get a bunch of guys that all get together and have a really good run like that. It's probably the most enjoyable part of it, because there's no better feeling in football than that 5 minutes after you walk off the ground, you've had the win, you're exhausted, but you look at the 22 blokes that have been out there with you and know that you gave it all and it's gone your way. So it's special, and this group will experience that in the near future.
Couple of big games in derbies as well. I think you won two Glendinnings as well. So you set yourself for those games. You got good memories of those?
Yeah, look, obviously it's a great thing for WA. To a lot of families have both West Coast and Fremantle supporters in there, and I used to send Jen down the shops on a Friday before the game just in case we lost, so load up on the food so if we lost, we could disappear for a week, and if we won, you could put it in the freezer. So it's just such a great thing for WA. We've to have that rivalry for the state, everyone gets right behind it, and they're special games to be involved in.
Is that story true that you kicked Darcy out because he ate too much? Is it?
No, I kicked him out because he dropped fish. I went home one day and he dropped a bottle of fish sauce on the floor, and it wasn't pretty. He can't clean up.
But you took him under your wing, eh? That's a big effort, isn't it? Because generally you know what's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, look, I've got the utmost respect for him. He's a great young man, and he's going to turn into a great player. So, like Simon did with me, if I can pass on as much information as I can to him and help him out in any way, I'm willing to do that.
Will you do that in a formal way, like next season even, or will you have a year off? You don't know.
Yeah, look, unknown at this point in time. No doubt I'll keep in contact with Sean regardless of what happens.
Did you get sick of the stories about how tall you are?
Yeah, well, just became part and parcel. It's something I suppose I had to embrace, and it's just one of those things that, is part of being tall.
You play this week, obviously. We've played the last round as well. You're keen to play both games?
Yeah, look, at the age of 36, we're taking it one training and 1 week at a time. It's all about this week at the moment. We've got Sonny's 150th, and I've stolen a little bit of thunder off you, Sonny, so sorry about that. We've got to celebrate that. We've got the retro round, which I'm excited to pull the old Guernsey on for, and hopefully we can have a good send-off for all the fans and go from there.
Why did you fight back from injury? You could have easily just said, you know what, that's enough. But you kept persevering and you finally got back. Was it to end on a good note?
No, mate, I love the game. It's such a special game, and to be, as I said, to be involved in a footy club like this, you want to cherish every moment. Obviously I was frustrated to be spending so much time on the sidelines with a calf injury, but as I said, I had some great guys in Ken and Jeff that encouraged me to give it one more go, and I'm so glad now that they did tell me to do that.